So I've been getting a lot of blessings recently. Having a lot of good days. And it's spring, so it's beautiful out. Everything's green. And you see the fledgling cardinals and the fledgling blue jays coming out, like little families and stuff. All the new stuff. So it's been going pretty good. Um, and I managed to get to church last Sunday. It was the first time in a long time. It's not actually church; it's a meeting house. Because I'm a Quaker, and that's a lot of people don't know about Quakers, and it's kind of a derogatory term to a certain extent. Although I don't see it as derogatory. The name really is Society of Friends. They call themselves Friends. They don't go to church; they go to a meeting house. But so I'll explain a little bit because a lot of people don't know about Quakers and stuff. Well, the name's derogatory because they got their name because they'd have issues, going against the church. They get in trouble with the law a lot, and when they're in trouble with the law, they'd be, standing sort of against the judge and shaking with fear. So they called them Quakers. But that's why I don't think it's derogatory. It kind of speaks to their courage. They didn't want to violate their understanding of the teachings of Jesus, even when they were so scared. That kind of thing. That determination. And it kind of purist. Technically, it comes from the Anabaptist school, which also kind of spawned uh, the Amish, things like that. Although the Quakers don't separate themselves from society, but um, and what happens is a little different. So you go to the meeting house and you sit in silence for an hour, and they don't have like a preacher or anything, and you sit in silence, and anyone in the meeting can, if they feel inspired by the Lord, they can talk and say something, like philosophy or whatever they want. And so we went to the one, in our local town, and they were real nice, real accepting. It was a good meeting. A lot of people spoke. Some meetings not a lot of people speak. And so there's a lot of good and insightful things that people said. And there's no like big hierarchy. Basically, any meeting house can basically do what they want as long as it's unanimous. If one person says no, then they don't do it. Everyone's equal. There's no one who says this is how it goes. Everyone's got a voice, and so yeah, they were real accepting, and a lot of people don't know about them. The Society of Friends, and after the meeting, talked, and it was like really good community. They really were friends. They were embodying the spirit of Christ, and uh, like if you live in a college town, there's definitely a meeting house in the college town somewhere because a lot of professors are actually Quakers. It kind of speaks to that personality. They're pacifists too, and so nonviolence, that type of thing. And um, so a lot of times they'll be activists as well. They'll have activist groups, and really what they do is they just follow the teachings of Jesus, kind of strictly. Sometimes it really depends on the meeting how traditional it is. Uh, like I said, each meeting has its own a lot of its own direction. They can direct it. The members can direct it themselves. That sort of thing. So so yeah, if you want to check it out, definitely check it out. You'll certainly be welcome. A lot of people don't know about it. You just look for the Society of Friends on the internet, and you'll find out where all the meeting houses are, and their times. They usually meet at like 9:30 or 10:30. It's funny the ones in the college towns they'll meet at 9:30, but then when college is in session, they'll meet at 10:30 for the college kids and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really nice, and you can sit in silence and sort of like wait for inspiration for the Lord. I didn't talk myself, although I kind of wish I did. Maybe next time. So yeah, that's about it.